Hello, everyone. Welcome to the final session of the Chain Abstraction Hackathon workshops. After today's workshop led by Okto, we will be having our Hacking Weeks and the mid-submission deadline as well on the 6th of October. I'm going to invite Ovia from Okto onto the stage, where she's going to start the demo as well, which will take around 30 minutes, and a walkthrough of the getting started page, and then we'll have 30 minutes time for Q&A as well. Hi, Ovia, welcome to the stage.
Hey, Emma, thank you.
I will leave you to it. Everyone, please ask your questions in the chat tab, and after I will come back in and read them out loud.
Cool. GM, I hope you can all see me. I hope you can all hear me. Can you all see my screen?
Yep, all good.
Okay. Right. So I hope you've all started building, and I hope you all are building using Okto. I just directly wanted to jump in and show you guys where to get all the information about Okto that you need to build. But before that, just quickly drew this high-level diagram to explain how to use Okto. So basically, this kind of shows you the workflow. On our system, you the developer will also be called the vendor. You'll be building your dApp, and you use your Okto admin dashboard to get Okto API keys and set some customizations if you wish. So inside the dApp, you can build the dApp using the SDKs. We provide 3 frameworks, which is React Native, and Flutter, to build your SDK, to build your dApp, and or you can directly use a set of APIs to build your dApp. So once you've built out this process, the API, indirectly the SDKs call the APIs, and the APIs will have access to the Okto orchestration layer. So what does the Okto orchestration layer do? It's a chain abstracted way of, it's a Web2 like way of building for Web3. So just by using a Web2 like API, you will be able to interact with any of our onboarded ecosystems. So right now we have Solana DevNet included, Polygon testnet, Base mainnet, Aptos mainnet, and Aptos testnet. So these are all the chains that we've integrated. And what Okto orchestration layer does for you is you can create accounts on any of these chains and manage those users. You can perform any transaction and do sponsorship, that is, you can pay for your users' transactions. And we've also abstracted out certain kinds of interactions. For example, anything to do with tokens, you can do token transfer with an API call. For example, in EVM systems, this would be a 2-step process at least. If you're dealing with fungible tokens, first you'll have to do an approved transaction, and then you would have to do the actual transaction. So that is abstracted out for you. It is just a single API call to deal with tokens and NFTs, and you can call and interact with any smart contract on the chain using a raw transaction API. And so it's the same kind of interface to deal with any of these ecosystems. That's the novelty and power Okto brings. And also you can call our Okto widget to get a front end web view on the portfolio you have, and you can even perform, like, you can even on ramp if and other features are there on the widget. Apart from all of this, we do entire transaction lifecycle management. So basically, you would just call the API. The API will execute all of these transactions on the chain in sequence if there are more than one transaction, and then return a response to you. So it will be like a one API call kind of experience to execute a full intent. So this is in a nutshell what Okto provides, and users will be interacting with your dApp to basically interact with all of these chains. So let's go to the Okto docs. this is how the Okto docs look. This is the landing page. So this, we have recently revamped our documentation. So this is the first time we're releasing this documentation. I'll be sharing the link to this doc. We've not hosted it on our website yet, so we're just giving you a preview for this hack. So I'll share the link to our docs separately through Emma, or I can even put it on chat if you guys want to follow along. Maybe that's better. Yeah, please feel free to drop any questions or any doubts that you may have. Okay, so as I said, we have 3 SDKs, React Native, and Flutter, to build on top of the Okto orchestration layer, or you can just go ahead and call our APIs directly. If you want to learn more about what Okto is, or how to use the admin dashboard, or join our community, or check out the demo, you can do all of these. You can check this out through these links. Before we go into the docs, let me show you how our dashboard looks. So this is the link to the dashboard. You can open the admin dashboard over here. And to build on Okto, where to use any of these, either the SDKs or the APIs, you would need an API key. So the place to get the API key is the admin dashboard. So just log in via your email, and you will get an email verification code sent to your email. So let me just put my code in. Right, so this is how the dashboard looks. When you log in for the first time, you'll be prompted to enter a project name. So I've just put DevRel for now, but you can enter your own project name. Right now, by default, you'll be given the sandbox environment, and you can use up to 50 users free of cost. So create your project. You're allowed to create up to 1 project, and this is the project name on the sandbox environment. Now, first place that you should go to is the API keys. So this is the unique vendor ID that Okto has assigned for your API key. So this is how we identify you in our systems. But what you actually need is the app secret. So the app secret, I've already created mine. So you should, we don't still save the app secret. So you should download it. You'll be given a text file. Download this app secret and save it somewhere safe. If you lose it, you will have to reset it. So keep that safe. So after you get the API key, if you want, you can check out some customizations, but or you can just get started. Let me just quickly walk you through the other possible menu options that you have. Customization is on the Okto widget. So I said there is token, NFTs, raw transactions, which are direct API or SDK calls. And the Okto widget is a call to a web view component that will be rendered on your screen. And this is the customization on how this web view component looks. You can choose between a light and a dark mode, and you can also change the color of the buttons if you wish. Right, you can change the color of the buttons if you wish. Other things you can do is, right, I said that we have Aptos testnet, base, Polygon mainnet, Polygon testnet, Solana, and Solana devnet right now in our system. So you can enable whichever chain you want to use, and you can also enable certain tokens in that chain. So you just have to create click on enable chain and search for the chain that you need, and enable chain over here. And on each chain, you need to enable some tokens. The native token of that chain is automatically enabled for you. But if you need some other stable token or some other token, you will have to do it via this feature here. So you can search for the token or for the contract address and enable the token. If this contract address is not working for you, please reach out to me and I will see how we can enable it for you from our backend. I'm also going to drop my sorry. Yeah, so let me come back to how you can reach me a bit later. So now that we know how to enable chains and tokens, you can also do sponsorship, which means that if you fund any of these, so on the chains that you have enabled, you can fund a sponsorship wallet. And any transaction that your app user makes the gas fees will be paid via the wallet that you've sponsored. For all the chains, this will basically be like the wallet to take fees from. But on Solana, even to create a wallet, we have a concept called rent. So you need for Solana, especially, you need to have a sponsor wallet. Is a compulsory thing that you must fund before you start using the Solana chain on Okto. I hope that is clear. So you can just deposit funds on this wallet, and automatically, like, you can just all your user wallets will be created, and users' fees will be deducted via this wallet. Also, you can manage your users. Right now, I only have one users. So this is all the users that were created via your vendor ID. And these are all the orders that they did on our system. Right. So now that you know how the dashboard looks, let's look at how you can reach me. The primary way of communication is via the Okto Discord server. Let me just share an invite on this chat. Okay, there's a question called up to how many users can we have? So yeah, you can have up to 50 users on your app, and we have a way of increasing it if you need more, right? So for now it's 50, but let me know if you want me to increase it, and I can do that for you. So this is the primary way of communicating with me or the Okto team. So you'll have to put your role as a developer, and certain channels will be enabled for you as a developer. So we have a dedicated hackathon. Under hackathons channel, we have a dedicated thread for the Encode Club chain abstraction hack. So create a new post here, and we'll get some expedited help ready for you. In case you're not able to reach me, or you're not able to, if you're not able to reach me, you can just ping me on Telegram as well. This is my Telegram ID. And yeah, I'll be happy to guide you. Right. Okay. So this is how you use the Okto dashboard. Right. This is also, okay, sorry. Yep, sorry. So this is, we're back to the Okto docs now. So let's do a quick walkthrough of the Okto docs. As I said, you can use the API reference or the one of the 3 SDKs that we have to interact with the Okto orchestration layer. So let's look at React, for example. In our demo, in a few minutes, we'll be creating our own React app. But let me just walk you through the kind of features that we have, right? So there are a couple of functions that you can directly call via the SDK, and please go through the docs, and it's pretty straightforward to understand. So this is how you get all the supported tokens, supported networks via code. We have get supported networks and get supported tokens. This will basically return whatever you have enabled here. All the chains and tokens that you've enabled here will be returned as a response in get supported token networks and get supported tokens. And yeah, so an example of how to use them, and if you want to see the interface or the definition of the response type, you can also do that. Okay. So coming back to this diagram, so how do you actually authenticate a user? Right now we have one authentication mechanism possible, which is Google Auth. So you can, any user can log into your application via Google, and Okto will verify that and create wallets and manage that user for you. So basically you'll have to set up, 1 second, yeah. So you will have to do a Google console setup based on whatever framework that you're using. If you're building on React, then you just need a web client ID. But if you are building for React Native or Flutter, you might have to set up Google console for Android and iOS. This is a fairly easy to do process. You can just follow the steps here. But what is important is getting the client ID. So you need to copy the client ID value, and this is how it will work. So from your application, you will be sending the you'll call the Google Auth server, and the Google Auth server will, based on your client ID, it will return an ID token. And this ID token you have to send to the Okto React SDK authenticate function, and the Okto servers will validate that and return an auth token for you. This auth token is very important for any further authentication or to call any of the further APIs of Okto. If that was too much, we will also see it via example, so no need to worry. So all I wanted to say is how you're authenticated on Okto is via this auth token, and to do any calls for your users, you need to have this auth token of your users. So this is the authenticate function that you would call in the React SDK, and you'll be basically passing the ID token. When you pass the ID token, the return is the result, which will contain the auth token, right? Okay, so as soon as you authenticate if the user is logging in for the first time, you have to manually create wallets for him. But this is a one-time process, so you have to call this create wallet function explicitly, and all the wallets will be created for your user. But if you call the create wallet function, if the wallets already exist, no need to worry, just the created wallets will just be fetched for you. As I said, for Solana, the wallet will only be created when the sponsor wallet is funded. So first fund the sponsor wallet and then call the create wallet. If you've called the create wallet function first, then you fund the wallet, you have to call the create wallet function explicitly again after you fund the wallet. I hope that is clear. Now using the embedded wallet for your users, you can retrieve all the wallets that he has. You can get his user details. You can get the portfolio details, which means all the tokens, all the assets that the user has across all the wallets that he owns. Then you can do token transfers. Token transfer means just basically it's a single API call across ecosystem for token transfer. All you have to pass is the network you're passing this token in, that is from address A to address B on which network, which token you're passing, whom you're passing it to, and the amount of the token that you're passing. So this is the transfer tokens data. Wait, let me just show you. So if you click here, yeah. So this is how you'll be transferring the token. You'll pass the network name, token address, the quantity, and the recipient address. These are the 4 parameters that you need to pass while for transferring a token. Now transferring NFTs. Similarly, you'll just be passing the network name, the collection address, the collection name, quantity, recipient address, and the NFT address. This is again the same API across any ecosystem. If most applications that anyone wants to build will revolve around token and NFTs, but if you already have contracts deployed for your application on any of the ecosystems that we support, you can also do interaction. You can also interact with those contracts with our raw transaction execute API. So in our raw transaction execute call, you will just be passing the network name and the transaction object. So this could be any transaction object, and we will blindly just sign it and execute it for you. So across EVM, Solana, Aptos, you will just be passing network name and transaction. And note that across ecosystem, the transaction object, the payload of the transaction changes slightly. So on EVM, you will have from to data value. On Solana, you'll have instructions and the signer. And an Aptos, you will have function type arguments and function arguments. So this is a chain specific thing that we have no control. Since we want you to be able to execute any transaction on chain, we've given this feature. So just with the network name and the transaction payload, you can blindly execute any transaction for your user on any of the ecosystems that we support, right? Hope this was clear. Before we go to our demo, let me quickly walk you through the API reference and some of the demo apps. So the API reference is another way up. If you don't want to use any of these SDKs, or you're just building a backend service, you can use our API documentation. We have a bunch of client APIs and a bunch of server APIs. Server APIs is for user management, or if you want to have like if you want to cater to a bulk of users. I would not use this much. So the client APIs is mostly what you'll be working with. Whatever I just explained in the SDKs, that is getting wallet, creating a wallet, getting the portfolio, transferring tokens, transferring NFTs, or executing a raw transaction, all of these features are directly available as API calls here. And a cool thing is, if you have your auth token, you can directly try and you can just execute the call over here and check, see the status directly on the screen itself. Okay, so now, okay, quickly, some of the example apps. These are community built projects that we don't maintain, but you can, they're all open source. So if you want to see how Okto works in real life, you can check out the link and the open source projects and see if those code helps you. There is also, so we the first symbol indicates which framework it is built on. So this is a React app. This is also a React app. This is built using the APIs directly. It is a Telegram bot. This is a React Native application. This is a React application. This is also a React Native application. So there are a couple of different projects that you can look at and learn from. Right. So the possibilities are endless, but if you do want some ideas, you can also check out the hack ideas that we have over here. Right. So coming to the Okto repo. So this is the Okto HQ repository, and we all of the repos that you see here, including the docs repo, is open source, and you can check out any of the example applications. So for the demo today, we will be doing the we'll be just setting up a React application. So for the first prerequisite is you need to have you need to be using the latest version of the SDK. So you can check out what the latest version is here, and you should get the Okto API key from the Okto dashboard, which we just saw how to do. And we should also have the Google Client IDs set up in your Google Console project. If you want to know how to do that, it's also available here. But I'm just going to open the Google Console to show you how to get the client ID. Setting up a login experience is less than 2-3 minutes. So it should be a fairly straightforward process. So I already have a project created. So I'm just going to go to my APIs and services and credentials. And here I already have a bunch of projects already created. So I'm just going to use one of them. And once you set all of this up and you follow the steps that we give in our documentation, you just have to copy this value, the client ID, right? Yeah, you can see, you can follow the steps here. It is pretty straightforward. So now that we have our API key and our client ID, let's get started. Okay. So I'm just going to create a simple application. So let's copy this actually. Okay, I have an empty folder over here. This may take a few minutes. So this is an empty React application. Meanwhile, let's see if there are any questions. Do you have any examples of how we can use the API, like previous use cases of projects? Yes. As I said, like here you can go to the showcase. So there is a Telegram trading bot that someone has built using the APIs. So feel free to check that out. It's a pretty cool project. I want to create a project that will enable users to automatically save their tokens, take tokens from their wallet using the API. I'm not sure what you mean by automatically save tokens, but yes, you can airdrop any token into the wallet, but the token has to be enabled on the dashboard. Only then the users can see it, and it will be fetched in the API response. So if the tokens are enabled, you can do anything you want with the token. Or maybe you just want to, if you tell me what you mean by automatically save tokens, I can help you out. Well, let's see if so right now we only have, so we want to give a Web2 like experience to both the users and the developers. So the developers, so right now so we have social login enabled, which is only Google, but soon we'll bring in Apple ID, GitHub, Telegram, and even phone and email OTP. But yeah, this is in the roadmap but not yet implemented. So our project is created. So let's just cd into the app. Cool. Okay, so coming back to the docs, what did the so we've done the first step. Now it's time to install the Okto React SDK, and since I need to use Google login, I will also be doing Google login. I don't think I need Axio, so I'm not going to do that. So just the React OAuth for Google and the Okto React SDK, right? So I think my package.json will be updated now with both the Okto React SDK and Google OAuth. Let's just wait for that to complete. Sure, Snachi, I think your use case is definitely possible. Yeah, of course. I think so. We can use Okto to create our own project, or is there any way to do so? Sorry, Sulaiman, I didn't understand your question. Perhaps you want to elaborate that for me. I'll be happy to help you. Okay, so now our dependencies are done. So we have the React OAuth and the Okto React SDK installed. So let's go back to our docs and follow the remaining steps. So we will need to initialize the Okto SDK and the Google OAuth provider, and then we're good to go. So let's initialize first the Google OAuth. So basically in your index.js, you will have to replace this code. Let's see what it does. Going to index.js, right? And you will have to enter your Google client ID over here. Okay, so let's do that. I'm just going to, okay, entered my Google client ID. Now going back to the docs, and I'll have to set up my Okto provider. So let's just quickly see what it does. It's just trying to wrap the main component, the app component, with the Google auth provider component. So that's pretty much what it does, nothing fancy. So let's take the app.js code also. So this is again higher up in your DOM tree. You're just wrapping your all your components with the Okto provider component. So copy this, and then you'll have to replace your Okto client API key, which you would have got from your dashboard. So I'm just going to stop sharing for a minute so that I can take my API key. Okay, so I've added my Google client ID and my Okto API key. And now I think I'm good to go. Okay, so I think after this, you are ready to build out your entire business logic. So the whole purpose of using Okto is so that you can focus on your user experience and the business logic and not have to worry about anything Web3, right? It's all abstracted out for you. So let's just create a simple login experience. So this is basically just calling the Google login component. So just setting up the Google login for you. I'm going to copy this, And in my code, I have just create, no, not a new folder, create a new file called login page. Save that. So you don't have to do anything, just copy paste it, and let's see if we can run it. Awesome. So this should just say authenticated if, let me open my console, bit ready. So I should be able to sign in with Google, and automatically it's signed in, and you have the Okto auth token. Now using this auth token, I can do anything. I can like build out my entire application, or I can even use in the docs, I can check out, let's say I paste my token over here, and I can create the wallet. I can get my portfolio also. So this is my portfolio. I can get all the funds that I have. You can test it out from the docs itself, or you can use our template application. So in React page, you have a template repo over here. You can see the repo. This is basically a forkable project that that will have this login screen that I just showed you, and you can directly just start adding your logic, right? We also hosted this as a template as an example, so you can also play around with it over here. So if you see, getting this, if I log in, we have a couple of more features also. So you can view your user details, or you can view your portfolio, you can view the wallets that you have, and you can also do simple transfer. So let me try doing a transfer. Let's say I'm in Polygon testnet. So if it is native token, that means there is no token address. Only in non-native tokens you have to add a token address. I'm just going to give a small value. If it is native token in Polygon testnet Amoy, I should have that balance, which is Matic in Polygon testnet Amoy. I have some balance, so I can do it. So make sure you have balance, and then just enter recipient address, transfer tokens, and the token is done. So this response doesn't mean that the transaction is complete on chain. So this just means that the transaction has been submitted to Okto, and Okto has created an order for it. Now you need to constantly keep checking the status of this order to see if the transaction is finally committed. So I'm going to check the order here. I've pasted the order status. So if you see that, it is in waiting for signature stage. And so you have to keep checking it till you get a transaction hash. When there is a transaction hash, that means, and there is a status is successful, then that means the transaction is successful on chain. So let's keep checking again. Oh, it's failed for some reason. Let me check. Or we can just trial maybe some other token. Okay, let's try Polygon itself. Second. Polygon 01. Okay, and this is my order ID. Yeah, so it's in created state. Let's see how, let's wait for it. Meanwhile, like, you can also try out the raw transaction via this page. You can do the network name and give the transaction object. Again, you need to execute it and keep checking the order. Also, this is the widget that I spoke about earlier, which means, yeah, so this is you can get your portfolio in a widget format. So this is all the funds that I have. You can see your wallet in an Okto provided UI, and you can also you can customize the appearance of this UI, and you can also on ramp if you like into your wallet. So these are the functionalities provided by the widget. So let's check. So it's in running state. It was changed from created to running. Yeah, so now it is successful, and then you have a transaction hash, which means the transaction was submitted and executed on chain. So this is equivalent. So you can actually check this hash out in the Explorer also. Just 1 minute ago, this transaction was performed for this much Polygon. And I should also mention that all Okto wallets that are created are smart contract accounts, so which is why you're seeing a different address, and it has gone to an ERC 4337 entry point contract. That's it. That's it from me. Any questions? Anything you want to ask or you need help with? I'm happy to.
I can see we have one more question in the chat from Maria, which is how do you carry out unit tests?
I think you would have to write your own unit test cases. I'm not sure. I mean, we don't provide anything of the directly for unit tests. But I'm sure in your project you can write your own unit test cases and run them.
Okay. And just circling back to Suleiman's question on using Okto to create their own project, is there any other method of doing that other than
Yeah,
through the
I'm
API?
not entirely sure what the question is. Can we use Okto to create our own project? Yes, of course, you can create your own project using Okto. Was there anything specific that you were looking for, Sulaiman?
I'm sure there are more questions from Suleiman, but in the meantime, just a small reminder for everyone to complete your mid-hack idea submission by 6th of October. That's the deadline. It is in your hacker packs. And once you are in your schedule and workshops table, you can just press on the mid-hack idea submission deadline and it will open up with a form, which I have also pasted in the chat now.
I just wanted to give a quick shout out to the prize pool that we have. So the prize pool is $3,000. We plan to give it up to 3 prizes. It could also be 1 or 2 prizes, depending on the number of quality submissions that we get. And also, since we're just releasing our documentation, I'll share it with Emma. And Emma, I request you to share it with the to all the participants. And please feel free to give us any feedback on the developer experience that you had while using our docs and our product. And yeah, that would be very useful for us.
Great to know. I've also shared the screen as well, just as a reminder. All the bounties are in your hacker packs. All the documentation is on there as well. And if you have any questions, you know where to reach Ovia on Discord. We lost Ovia. I think her battery was running out as well. But I will get the link from her and update the hacker pack. Again, reminder, this is your hacker pack. Any questions you have, you can always go back to this or message me on Twitter, Telegram, or Discord. And this is where you can also find the latest mid-hack idea submission deadline, which will give you this form and it will help us help you better. The last session, the last workshop for this hackathon is over. And good luck hacking. I can't wait to see what you guys build and see you soon. Thank you, everyone.